I'm nephew Justin. This is my character.
I'm taking my stick in now.
Bring it on in. Sorry, I had to introduce you. I was telling him about nephew Justin earlier
we had a whole
today.
conversation about this. Yeah.
It's my alt.
Sam,
Uncle
but
Sam.
nephew Justin.
Well, she picked it up faster than I did.
All right,
My specialty.
I got chips.
Thank you.
I've got like chicken salad that my wife made. It's awesome. So dig in, and we're making pizza. But yeah, right? And it's that easy. So this is grab it, dude. It's in the door on the left side. There's no such thing as ruining a moment of time. No. It was Emily's.
Remember when you bitched at me today about grabbing a bottle of soap bubbles to check for a leak?
Yeah.
And you grabbed the one that was almost empty?
Yeah.
You didn't want to use the new one?
Yeah, I do remember
Do you
that.
see what I got in my hands?
I sure do. I sure do.
We live in a world of hypocrites. I am simply a pawn.
I would argue, but you make some really valid points.
Every now and again, believe it or not. That's Kurt Russell, Unnerving Nature.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, so this recording is what I call an episode of the National Tax Strategy Education Program. I am trying to educate you on my idea of how we as a nation should do tax strategy. I record it. I leverage my time, one-on-one conversation. You ask questions for everyone who watches it. Right?
Gotcha.
Now we do one recording, and for the next 100,000 years, people can watch it.
No pressure.
Yeah,
100,000
exactly.
years, people. No worries.
But the goal is to do so many of them that no one watches a single one a ton, but they watch pieces and parts of multiple until they're comfortable with this system and want to get involved.
Okay.
And then they buy into the system on their time because I will never sell them. It is their choice to follow me. Right?
So it takes about every 8 times
Yep.
to see your ad before they recognize your name or whatever.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then my goal is if I market this for the next 10 years, and then I spend the next 10 years trying to sell it, and then the next 10 years trying to get good at producing it, but I do all that slowly over the 30 years, I think I'll be successful. If I'm willing to dedicate 30 years.
I mean, what's successful to you? What's that
Well, so
bar?
that's the most important question ever. I'm already there. I have an amazing wife and 3 beautiful kids that right now are 11, 9, and 7. I can never relive their life. I can always try to build my dream in the future once they're gone. But right now, the most important thing for me is to be present and to educate my children on how to live a fulfilled life. Whatever success looks like to them, that's all that matters. Like, who cares what success even looks like to me for them?
Because it'll look different.
I am not them. They are not me. My success will never look like Emily's success, or Scarlett's, or Tristan's, or Nora's. And I don't want it to.
I like the name Scarlett. Jot that down, Joel.
Isn't it an awesome name?
You disrespect my name choices, so I will not.
Your name choices are shit.
They are not, actually.
Anywho, so because that's how I believe, what I believe, time is the only currency in the world. Everything else depends on one human and one human deciding the value in that moment of time. What did you pay for it? What am I willing to sell it? House, stock, Bitcoin, shitcoin, US dollar. All of it is based on belief in that moment of time. And time just moves. Right?
Makes sense.
So every week I compile this information, and the goal is to update this document that I've been updating for about 2 years for the next 100 years. As long as I or someone in my family continues to update this document, I believe we will find success.
All right.
And so what it is first we start with what is the business model. This is an affiliate marketing company.
Okay.
Right? That's all it is. So this is my blog. I drive people from all social media platforms to the blog. The goal is to get them to click on different links that generate revenue back to the company. So that's the business model. Then every week we are updating the blog. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day or any of that. So it's a week by week thing. And then while we live life, we record it, documenting that journey, building the blog, right? So that's how we generate content every single day. Right now, the company has $300 monthly reoccurring revenue. We're building on a SaaS business model where subscribers become part of the ownership of the asset. So this is more statistics on the financials of the organization. Based on that $300, about $300 a month. MRR, we're at $3,552 annual recurring revenue. And this is revenue that people have said, I see the idea, I support the idea, and I will put in money every single month to this pot because I believe this could work. Right? So this is year to date compared to last year to date. So this is my holding company. So it was originally I was using an LLC. I started America's Holding Company as a C corporation. I transferred all my revenue into that C corporation while I tried to find a W-2 job because I wanted to separate my personal income with the company revenue, which is what I've been trying to do. So last year I was driving all my revenue as an individual into the company, taking it all out to feed the family, which made our numbers look good, but it wasn't the true model. Does that make sense?
So you don't want it to be a pass-through company. Like,
Uh,
you don't want to
not
live
for
off
me.
of the proceeds? Okay.
Nope. This is designed to be a publicly traded asset.
Mm-hmm.
It is not designed to be my personal piggy bank. So I've got to figure out, how do I feed my family on one side
Mm-hmm.
and take care of them while also building this completely separate from me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why last year the numbers were a lot better, because I was driving everything in. Now I'm own. Oh, sorry.
There. That's
So last year total revenue year to date was 40,000. This
Mhm.
year it's 24,000.
Mm.
So that change was, I finally got my personal income out of the company, and then my personal income blew up, and now I'm trying to figure that side of the equation out again, if that makes sense. So that is the statistics of the company. So there's two products. I think about it like a labor union. Okay? In a labor union, the company pays into the system and the individual pays into the system. Okay? So the individual pays $127 month one, and then it's a $27 subscription. So just like a Netflix subscription. You get a digital business card. Every year you get an annual Christmas ornament. So that's a picture frame. I don't believe any company can tell you the most important thing that happened in your life. Only you can. But they can give you a frame to hold it in. And then there's an owner's manual to how does this whole system work. So think about this like, how I think about it is, this replaces the tax code. If we threw away the entire tax code and started from scratch, what would the owner's manual look like to being an American citizen? How would I read that? Like, what would it be saying? Like, would it be saying, oh, you owe this if you do this, you owe this if you do this? I think it should operate more like a country club that says, hey, you pay this fee, this is what you get. Right?
Gotcha.
So then everybody gets a Made in America flag and a collectible silver coin to commemorate everything. And then every 30 days that they've made a payment, it makes people eligible for what I call the Future of Society investment opportunity. So these are things that happen throughout our lives that drive society forward. So getting married, having babies, getting a divorce, graduating college, graduating high school, becoming a U.S. citizen. All of these things help all of us as a society. So if these happen, you can invest an additional $100 and you get extremely discounted ownership of the asset we're all building together. Sorry. It gets confusing. So this is just how individuals, like I mentioned, the labor unions, so the $27 a month is the individual investment into it. Then the National Tax Strategy Program is what we're doing right now. It's just talking about this system. We're creating a community on X where we'll vote on hey, Joe Schmo broke his ankle. Should we give him $10? Or whatever it happens to be, right?
Okay.
So it's just a way for us to communicate. And then there's 5 levels of investment into the system.
Okay. What are the 5 levels?
So $150 per month gives every W-2 employee. So the goal is to take care of all the employees at once.
Okay.
Every W-2 employee gets 10 shares as a sign-on bonus, and then 2 shares per year multiplied by the number of years they've been employed. So we're creating a stream of cash flow into this asset, and based on the people who subscribe to the asset, they get ownership of it. And then that ownership they can sell back to the asset, or we go public on the stock exchange and they sell it to someone else who wants to store the value of their time in our asset. Because time is the one thing that always passes. Right? And so the investment levels are 150, 300, 750, 1500, or 2000 a month, depending on how much you invest, determines how much all your employees get out of this system. So the more companies that invest, the more revenue we're bringing in, the more equities we're buying for the future, and then we're sharing that pot with all the employees that help build the pot. Oh, come on. So right now, it's divided into 3 different classes of stock, common shares. So Class A is 19% of the company. It is designed to be owned by essentially 1.5% by the chairman of the board, 1.5% by the chairman of the board's spouse, and then the other 16%, there's 19% of the whole company is Class A, is owned by the other 8 board of director teams. So the team is a couple, right? Because I believe the family unit is the most important piece of success in life, right? Over the decades, yes, your company matters, but your family matters more, right? So then this is my board of directors. It's me, my wife, my father and mother. I've got a really good friend and his wife I've invited to the board. I want to invite the general manager and general manager's wife, service technician's wife, client 1 and client 1's wife, and then my financial advisor and his wife, and I have 2 seats open on the board. Gotcha. Right? And so this is where I want, depending on how everything works out, I'd like to have you and Jordan be part of my board. Sorry. Does that make sense? I fucking love it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? So this table controls the asset. The next 51% of the asset is Class B shares. This is the ESOP portion, so employee stock ownership portion. You can only earn this through being involved in our system. You can only get it from me directly, issuing the shares to you, and you can only sell them back to me. right? So you're selling them into the cash flow we create as a team. And then Class C shares, this is 30% of the company. This is what I want to do an IPO with.
Okay.
And this 30% is what we take public. That creates liquidity today. This is creating the retirement plan. And then this team controls the asset. And so I look at it like driving a car. The less drivers you have, the faster you can go, right? So in business, you want to be able to move quick, but you want to also impact a ton of lives. So you separate the control of the asset from the financial benefit of the asset through super voting rights. And so that's how this whole system is set up. And so right now there's no liquidity. I'm at negative like $9 in the account. Sad days. Someday I'll get there. And then the ESOP shares, when you sell them back over time. And the longer you finance them, so seller financing, right? And real estate, business, all that stuff, you don't need a bank because you are the bank. So you invest in to a company that's part of our system. You earn revenue out of the system. Then you sell it back over time to create an income stream out of that system. And that's how we create an annuity for all of the employees that help us be successful over time. So we don't have any new subscribers right now. I am the main investor driving all of this right now. And thank you for watching and letting me talk through that. So if people wanted to join, they would go to americasholdingcompany.com. The individuals pay $127 the first month, $27 a month after that. Companies pay between $150, $300, $750, $1,500, and $2,000. So thank you. Appreciate y'all tuning in.